So we will submit to the woman. We'll put up with all type of abuse. We'll allow that woman to have dominance and control of us because we love that feeling of just getting our rocks off. What's going on? New video today. So today I want to talk about toxic femininity. You know, there are many examples in the world today where we see toxic femininity, and a lot of times it's made an excuse for, it's underestimated, it's just thrown in the dark, and they can just get away with being toxically feminine. And a lot of times, you know, we just don't want to address it. You know, we see it in just the overall sexuality of the society. The girls walking around with less and less clothes on, and we make it seem like it's okay. We see it in no-fault divorces when women can make up any excuse to leave their husband for, you know, for anything, and then she ends up getting paid and making the same money that he's making, and he can go live in a box somewhere. You know, we see it in the more, as when men become more feminine, men are starting to act like women, be emotional like women, to the even just homosexuality. You notice that all these things are starting to increase because of the toxically feminine world that the agendas are pushing, that we're living in our society. You even see it in relationships like, you know, the Will Smith relationship. And I don't want to go too deep into that, but that's just an example. You know, if anything, it's a bad thing to see, but it's an example of what can happen if we allow women to have too much power in our life. So I'm going to talk about 3 ways that we see toxic femininity and why we need to stay on our purpose and retain as well. So number 1, I'm going to say emotional manipulation. Now, emotional manipulation is a very underestimated, you know, often unnoticed reason why a lot of relationships can break up. You know, it's a reason why you see like men like Will Smith snapping out in public and slapping another man. Women have a way of being, they're very emotional. They fight like emotional battles. A part of being feminine is being more emotional, being more vulnerable. But sometimes women can take things too far. Passive aggressiveness. When a woman is not communicating her feelings and telling you exactly what she's feeling, it can leave you confused as far as what to do as a man and what things that you can do to get better, but she's not telling you that she's acting in a more aggressive way. You know, then we talk about the lying, how women can lie. Women are also great actors. You know, I was watching like Anthony Spade. He was talking about how when he was in acting class, some of the best actors in the room were the women. And I myself took an acting class, and I noticed that women are good actors. You know, they get used to not telling what they really feel, and they can act like they love you, act like they're into you. And that's how we get ourselves into relationships and into marriages, and we get the bait and switch where we think a woman is in love with us, and then we find out that, you know, she possibly cheating on another dude, or she didn't really love us, and then it can really hurt you to the core. Say for instance, you could be in a argument with a woman or have a conflict with a woman, and then the police show up or something like that, and women, they have a way of omitting information of what's exactly going on. What happens is that you can always be the one getting blamed for everything, not to mention that you're already a man and you're already physically strong, and, you know, she can constantly use that to her advantage and get away with those type of things. And what happens is that when you're in these relationships, these women, they can change the perception of you by telling people lies about you, having people looking at you differently. So you will find yourself in all this drama that you really can't put a finger on. Emotionally abusive and manipulative relationships can really be confusing. It can confuse boundaries. So when you find yourself in these relationships, you have to stick to your boundaries, and you have to stick to your belief systems to stay out of these type of things. I took a job that I shouldn't have. That was like the red flag of the job, is that I was working with a bunch of women. I had a female over me. And at the time, I'll say this was about 5-6 years ago, I got into like the whole red pill, MGTOW, all this stuff, you know, men first thing. So my attitude was that I would never let a woman lead me. You know, I'll never let a woman boss me around and control me. So that was my whole attitude. So I ended up taking a job where I had a female over my head. So I compromised on my belief system. I compromised on those type of boundaries of not letting women lead over me. And I brushed it off as if like, cool, I'm just trying to make some money. But, once I got into the job, and honestly, sometimes you have to take this thing even into your career. That's why it's best to chase your purpose, and it's best to start your own business if possible. I was working with this female, and she basically, she took the power to a head. She started to abuse her authority. She was very passive aggressive. It was hard to work on projects with her because she didn't tell me exactly what she felt. So when we made mistakes and our boss came to us about it, she would omit the things that she didn't do within the projects and made it seem like, I was making all these mistakes. And I was only making these mistakes because she wasn't doing her part as a teammate, but she didn't ever tell that part. So you have to be careful with women. They do that a lot. They don't tell their side of the story, or they omit certain things. So it's like they're not lying, but they're not telling the whole truth at the same time. And at the time I was very confused and stressed out with the job because I was constantly getting called to the office about this and that. I was doing 10 things right. I do one thing wrong. And then, all of a sudden I'm the worst employee ever. So basically, I was confused and I couldn't put my finger on what was going on. And I knew something wasn't right. Women can gaslight us and lie and manipulate things. And something's not right, but you just can't put your finger on it. So I just put my 2-week notice in because I knew something wasn't right. I just didn't want to deal with it. So this is how women, they end up dying alone because they run so many men away from them. Or if it's a man around, they can emotionally beat him down. He started off as that strong, assertive man, and he slowly gets beat down into that quiet dude sitting in the corner. We have to be careful when women are pulling those type of strings. So don't become those type of men. You have to retain, and you have to stick to your boundaries, and you have to recognize the red flags so you don't get emotionally manipulated, and you never put women on a pedestal. Don't give women too much power. And I know that sounds misogynistic, but you see the results. Like if you like a girl, if you put her on a pedestal, she's going to take you for granted. She's going to take you for granted and treat you like a fan. Because women, they are not good with handling power. I know it sounds messed up. I know. Out of all the women I done worked with and been around, I only met like maybe 1 or 2, women that were actually good leaders. But majority of women, they always found a way to shirk responsibilities, not be accountable, find someone to blame, find a way to squeeze themselves out of things. And it can be very confusing when you're dealing with them. Number 2 of how women can be toxically feminine. Sex. Women are the gatekeepers of sex. Sex is a woman's playground. Sex, it comes easy to women because we as men, we chase after women to have sex. Us as guys, we have to work for sex. It take us a while. So never get into a competition with a woman on who can get the most sex partners. You will get your heart broke fast. Get into the sex. Honestly, we don't really pay women that much attention, or we don't have much feelings for women if we are not sexually attracted to them. That's a high reason why we get ourselves into these toxically manipulative emotional relationships. If we allow ourselves to be dominated by a woman sexually, what happens is that we can stay in relationships too long because us as men, we understand that if we are not in a relationship, we can't get constant sex on a regular basis. So we will submit to the woman. We'll put up with all type of abuse. We'll allow that woman to have dominance and control of us because we love that feeling of just getting our rocks off. Even if you're just watching porn and OnlyFans and girls just giving up, just showing all this sexuality, we submit to it, we pay for it, and it just takes a big toll on us. It takes up our attention. And of course, if we're constantly releasing our semen, our life force, we're wasting our time sitting around and being dominated by women. When we're chasing after sex, we can drop our boundaries. We can drop our morals, and we can let women dominate over us because we love how good it feels. We don't want to use our condoms because we like the flesh-to-flesh contact. We like the dopamine release. We like the dopamine release. That's why it's important to abstain from sex, because just like we abstain from releasing our semen or just retaining our semen, it's because it makes us stronger. You know, it makes us more focused. It brings back our masculinity and our manhood and our overall strength. Because if we get caught up in that lustful state too long, we slowly start to weaken ourselves. We slowly start to waste our time. Because we look at like male porn stars, it's like they're not doing nothing. They're having a lot of sex, but they're not doing nothing else. You know, they're just sitting around waiting on the next female. So you know, even though the sex can be good, we can skip over the qualities of a female just because we are sexually attracted to them. And even before we're having sex, it's the physical attraction. And we skip over women because we can be physically attracted to them because we're chasing the sex. So that takes me into the next topic, physical attraction. Women's physical attraction can have a strong hold on us. You can be walking to the store, you can be driving to work, and a beautiful woman can walk past you with the right curves, a nice butt shape, a nice breast and everything like that, and she just looking good. And you can almost wreck your car, stop everything you're doing because you just got caught up into this overall physical attraction of this woman. And it could be very seductive. We find ourselves wasting so much time looking at women and staring at women, and we're giving them this free attention, and they get an ego boost from it. And it could be the ugliest woman or whatever. And they can turn around and they can treat us like fans. They can treat us like, you know, we don't matter. It's because we're boosting their ego by we're getting caught up into the sexual attraction and the Instagram pictures, the OnlyFans, and all these physical images of women, even if they're not showing any private parts. And we can spend our money and waste our time. And, you know, even the physical appearance can have us going home and releasing our semen and things like that. You know, even the innocence of a woman, she don't even have to have the curves. She could just have like this cute little face, and they can play this damsel in distress look. That damsel in distress look. It's like when you're 18, you think girls are just innocent. You think on a Friday night they not doing nothing, and you think they're doing what you're doing. You think, you know, you at home studying on a Friday night. They at home doing whatever they're doing. But little do you know, now you'll see 18-year-old girls on the casting couch on Pornhub, and you know what happened next. So, and it's a ugly experience. It's an ugly thing you want to think about as a man if you're attracted to a girl and you find out, you know, she doing who knows what. And then these girls, they put their glasses on, they fix their hair, they put their little school uniform on, and they go back and they sit in class and they look innocent. Some of the most innocent looking girls, you don't want to know what they're doing. And we get caught up in their look, and they could be doing some devilish things, you know, that you have no idea, that you wouldn't believe they're doing. But guess what? They are. And it's an ugly thing that we need to accept. So that's my video today. My camera's been going dark and lightening up and things like that. So hopefully I can edit this video and get it out right. But hit me up in the comment section, like and subscribe. I will see you guys with the next video. Peace.